What's good, y'all? It's Spaz XO ASMR back with another vid. Now, I was kind of debating on whether I should make this video. If you wonder what the video is, which I guess you can see the title if I even post it, but we're going back to my senior year. Now, if you're not aware of what happened in my senior year, you're about to know now. But for the real ones, if you visited the my Spaz XO account and you watched the not documentary, the story time of when I visited the ward, this has something to do with it. This book right here. Hold on. My senior memory book. This has something to do with why I visited the ward. Well, not visited. I stayed at the ward for like I don't even know how many days. But this is one of the reasons or why I visited the ward. This right here. And we are about to get into the book. Now, if I start crying, I start crying. I'm not gonna lie. I might cry. I'm not gonna lie to y'all because my whole life is in this book. My whole life, or most of my life, is in this book. I didn't get too deep, like very, very deep of what happened in my life, but I got most what's called most of my experiences are in this book. So let's get into the book, y'all. So as y'all can see, this is my senior memory book. This is my real name. You know what I'm saying? This is the table of contents. I think that's what they call it. Table of contents. Hold on. Oh wait, wrong one. Wait, what the hell? Can y'all see it? It's like kind of bright, but I hope y'all can see the table of contents is right there, but the light is like kind of blocking it out. But here's the first page. And while I read, I'll explain to y'all like what I mean and like stuff like that. Okay, so we starting off. Chapter 1, Bells in the Mist. My character flaw is that I'm addicted to substances. Now, y'all might be asking what type of substances. I was addicted to Tylenols, the way Tylenols used to make me feel, you know. It's not like something so big, like, oh, he's addicted to this, he's addicted to that. It's not like something so serious, but at the same time, it's like I shouldn't be addicted. Uh, it's like I shouldn't be addicted to like pills or whatever. So I said like I was addicted to substances. But what I really was addicted to was the painkillers I had when I broke my finger. This is the finger that I broke. It looked a little weird. So like it's not fully healed. Not fully healed. What's the word? It's not like gonna be fixed, but like it's working. So I guess it's not that bad. But when I broke my finger, they assigned me some painkillers, I believe, when it starts throbbing. I took them bitches. Bro, my mind was in the clouds. I felt great. Amazing. But let's continue to the memory book. I selected this one because this is the main problem in my life currently. This has had the biggest impact on my life because it has broken bonds, my touch with reality, in my mind. Now, this is around the time where I was experiencing symptoms of schizophrenia, and I couldn't really decipher whether it was the pills or whether it was something that I was always born with. At the time, I wasn't really too like connected with what was happening mentally, like with different disorders. I wasn't really tapped in with that. I thought I was just a normal kid, but the more I started to dive into my past, I started to see, oh, okay, like I'm not like others. Which I guess no, like not everybody's like everybody, but it's like I could see like I'm not a normal person. Like I have something going on in my brain, like not like a normal person. So, but let's get to back to the let's get back to the book. I don't like this about myself because I feel like I'm losing myself by being dependent on drugs, but I wish I could change it. With this drug dependency has brought voices and hallucinations into my life. Again, I couldn't decipher whether it was from what was always there or the pills, which makes me lose touch with reality. If I don't end up fixing this, it'll either lead to death, me being in a ward, which I was, or me hurting someone else. I remember I once went through withdrawals because of my addiction to pills. I don't know if that happened. I don't remember if I actually went through withdrawals. I don't know if I was in an episode or I actually went through withdrawals. I can't remember. That's one of the bad things about this shit. Like I try to remember these times, I can't remember them. I don't know if it's because when I got the ward, everything was cleared from my mind or what. I don't remember. A lot of things when I got out of the ward, I just can't remember anymore. This, like when I went through these withdrawals, I can remember some of it, but it's like I could decipher whether it was from, like decipher if it was an episode or actual withdrawals. But all these thoughts and voices came into my mind, reminded me of all my flaws. I stayed there, shaking and crying, because it felt as if something was luring me to death. That actually happened. I remember that. I think I was sweating, shaking, crying. I couldn't tell if that was withdrawals or an episode, but fuck it. It felt as if I were screaming, but it was silenced. It reminds me of screaming into a pillow. I felt lost and still do. I no longer have a common conception of life. People believe in a higher power and such. As for me, I feel I'm in a coma and I'm experiencing life while I'm dying in an ER room. It feels as if the original me is drowning. I'm starting to put my safety and other safety in jeopardy. The saddest part of it is that I feel like I'm lying about all this, yet I'm killing myself. And that's crazy because I still feel like I'm lying about some of this. Like, I don't know why. I feel like I'm seeing myself as like some type of villain. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm lying about all this. When I tell y'all about my experiences with schizophrenia and bipolar and all this, at least that's what I'm diagnosed as, schizoaffective. But when I tell you about all this, I feel like there's something in the back of my head. It's like, yeah, you're lying about all this. Like none of this even happened. And it makes me feel like what I went through was just something that didn't. I don't know how to explain it, but it makes you feel like what I just went through with all this, it didn't seem like it just didn't happen or like it doesn't matter type thing. We on the next page. We on page 4. I now see shadow people and get crazy hallucinations in this life I'm living in, which I still do see that shit. I see like bugs and shadow people and people walking, and it's like a lot of stuff. I don't know if the meds make me do that or like I'm doing that myself. Not I'm doing that myself. I don't know if the meds make me do that or like I guess it's just part of the symptoms. I don't know. Uh, because I think like some of the meds that I take, I think they say hallucinations come with it. So it's like, yeah, it is what it is. Uh, it's like I scream out for help, but no one's hearing me. Sadly, I fell in love with the idea of balconies, and if I fall off of one, I'll end up waking up from this fantasy. So I had this idea, right. I think it came when it was around New Year's Eve, and I was at my auntie's apartment. She has this balcony. I think I stood on the balcony and I looked at the lights from all the fast food restaurants. And it was just something just telling me or like leading me to the balcony. And it was like kind of like not a sad feeling, but like it was kind of peaceful, like a peaceful death type thing. And it was basically like trying to get me to jump off the balcony. It was the weirdest shit ever. But everything has been associated with death so far. I fall more and more into these ideas of whoever this person is or this person I am becoming. I'm driving through the road of darkness looking for change, but I'm too comfortable with this new self. I'm just waiting for the chance to get out of this misery. I react to this flaw with anger and sadness, but it feels like I'm numb. I have finally accepted it sadly. The sad part is I don't plan on changing it. I feel like I'm this way forever until I die. I try to hide this trait from my family. I don't want to worry them. I don't believe there's any good side to this flaw except that it helps me think differently about life. And that's before I went to the ward, I think. Yeah, that was before I went to the ward. So when I was saying I didn't want my family to know, they end up knowing later. But Chapter 2, reality or fantasy. This is what it looks like. Hold on. That's from my Instagram. Like this. Okay, this is kind of weird to explain. Okay, so the picture is from my notebook, but then I posted it to my Instagram. If y'all don't know my Insta, it's in the description. But all my emotional shit is on my Instagram. You can even see some of quotes from my episodes or whatever you want to call them. I don't really know the word for it. Delusions, maybe. You can even see the quotes from my delusion episodes or yeah, delusion patterns or whatever on my Insta. But let's get to chapter 2. I believe that life is not real and this is simply a game or simulation. I don't really think that anymore. I don't think I really think that anymore. I think once I got into this practice called Odanani, it's what's called African what's called it's like a it comes from the Igbo tribe or the Igbo tribe. But once I found out about that, it kind of removed the game or simulation type of feel to life. This also goes for people I feel like they aren't real either. I used to think that as well. Or what's I used to think that. This thought always stuck with me when I was little, and probably one of the reasons why I could never grasp religion. I still can't kind of grasp it. Like, yeah, I do believe in Odanani, but it's like it doesn't seem like not it doesn't seem, but I can't really like grasp it really. Like I can't like you know how people like Christians, diehard Christians, they'll put their whole logic and what's called logic and their thinking behind the religion. I can't really do that. Uh I felt as if I were in a dream or living another life while my body was somewhere dying. That's one of the reasons, or not reasons. That's one of the that's when in the last chapter I was saying it felt like I was in a coma. That's what I meant. But or I feel as if I'm in a loop of life where I die every time I fall asleep. And when I wake up to be continuing my life that has already ended. Yeah, my mind was like a whole mind fuck type thing. Being in this mindset really sets me apart from everyone else. I feel this belief is real, and I truly can't trust or believe anything in this reality, not even myself. Once I told my mom this, which was a couple of days ago, she believed I was schizophrenic, which maybe makes sense. I also believe these voices I hear in my head guide me to safety. They can sometimes be dark and lead me to death, but I trust them more than the humans here. So yeah, that was definitely like a dark time for me because I was believing whatever the voices told me, and instead, not even listening to my mom, my family, not even listening to them. It even got to a point where I couldn't trust my family because of what the voices were, or maybe not voices, because I don't think these really count as voices. Like I used to think voices were voices in my head they counted, but when I talked to my psychiatrist, he told me that the voices in my head are actual real delusions. So I wasn't really expecting real not real delusions, real hallucinations. I did have delusions for sure. Like I remember this one time my mom was driving to a place like I was familiar with, I think. I don't know where we was driving, but what's called the delusion came to my mind was like she's gonna kill you. But I know my mom would never do that. But a delusion came to my mind. She was like, she's gonna kill you, and I just accepted my fate. But let's get back to the vid. Let's see. I believe humans will kill me if I let them get the chance to. I feel like I was always attacked with their voices, but I got closer to them. They make things complicated. They say I'm lying and make me question myself. Once again, I can't like I. It makes me feel like I can't. What's the word? Like I can't trust what was called. Like everything I'm saying is a lie, so I can't trust myself. It make me question myself when I know I am aware of their existence. I could be born a so-called schizophrenic, or this could have come because of substance abuse. Truly, I think I always had this. So yeah, this is around the time where I finally started to believe, oh, okay, like this isn't because of the substances. This is because this is something I always had. I just didn't notice it. I thought this was normal. All right. I think I was always in tune with voices and this way of life, even before the substance abuse. They actually keep me up at night. And one of the things that causes my hallucinations is psychosis, I guess you could say. With me believing these things I do, it causes me to not live. Me thinking this way actually gives myself or the voices an option to self sabotage. I repeat to myself, life isn't real anyway, just take the pills. I could have made so many promises to people about my sobriety, and I'll let all that go because of what the voices say. I'm surely the utopia for these voices, and they live through me. I could end up dying because of them, but I know I won't truly die. I'll wake back up. So yeah, I was definitely in something deep. Chapter 3, Stars. This is a dedication to Young Lean, Jonathan Lindor. That's my G, bro. I fuck with his music so hard. And they made us write, I guess, like a dedication to people that we care about or something. And at the time, I was really fucking with Young Lean because he was helping me get through my whole schizophrenia thing. But it says, I want to say that your music has changed my life. Your songs were played throughout my mind when I was in the psych unit. Your music gives me a euphoric feeling that I never get from any other artist. You and Blade have a similar sound that I resonate with. My supporters recommended you. I think the first song I heard from you was this one with you and Blade. I forgot the name. I didn't like the song very much. It felt as if you were just saying random things, but then they recommended Agony. The song truly touched my heart. I'm currently listening. It spoke to my heart. It was something I could really relate to regarding my hallucinations or psychosis, I guess. The song made me feel heard in a time when I was crying out for help, in a time when I was figuring myself out. My supporters then recommended Hotel in Minsk. That is my song. I fuck with that song so hard, which is another song I felt. Time goes by and they recommend a documentary yours called In My Head. The documentary was entertaining and it was emotionally touching. It also led me to your song Hurt, which is one of my favorite songs currently. My supporters recommended a lot of your songs, so I would just be naming a lot of your song titles and how they made me feel. But they made me feel as no other song can. I put in a psych unit where they didn't allow us to play music on our own accord, so I would spend most of the time singing Hotel Miss Agony, Low, Eye Contact, and Hellraiser to myself while staring out the window. It's almost as if I was putting my life in your lyrics and you were leading me through my troubling times. You truly are a lifesaver. And to see how you got out of your troubles, I know I can get out of mine. I hope I can find a friend who's as loyal as Blade is to you. I love how he stood by your side even at the time of your psychosis. I feel we all need that. I feel your music is simplistic, but yet complex when feeling it or receiving the message. You truly are one of my inspirations, and you inspire me to just be creative and do what I want. Express myself however I see fit. Sincerely, Elijah. All right, this is chapter 4. This picture is a picture I took when I was in what's gonna get like transferred to this what's called like the suicide watch part of the hospital. Chapter 4, Peace and Captivity. This story just because this story started just because of a journal entry like this one. For chapter 1, I talked about my substance abuse and psychosis. It then caught the concerned eye of a teacher of mine until I was called to the counselor office in third period. I was asked a series of questions around the subject of suicide, self harm, or harm to others. I sat there in confusion because I didn't feel like I wanted to harm myself, but instead the voices were controlling my destiny and fate. I this is like when I thought, or what's called this is around the time when I didn't feel like I really wanted to commit suicide. It's like what the voices wanted, so that's what I would do. It was what's called all this is kind of complex, but let's see what I sat there confusion because I didn't feel like I wanted to harm myself, but instead the voices were controlling my destiny and fate. I think that ended up counted as self harm. She then called my mom to recommend a hospital for me to go to for psychological reasons. That hospital ended up being the children's hospital. Me and my mom were trying to find a way to get into the actual lobby with so many passages and entries, but we finally found it. It turns out, according to them, it was an emergency, but to me, it was just something normal. I got checked in at the hospital and sat and waited for my doctor to call me in. Some of this is a blur, probably because of the medications. But I talked to multiple doctors about the voices, hallucinations, and drug abuse. They all raised an eyebrow and had this idea that I was struggling. With me starting to hear it so much, I was convinced I was struggling. It started agreeing with everything they were saying. The next thing I know, they informed me that I'm going to be spending the night at the hospital. I was then given a gown and told to put all my personal belongings in a bag. The security guard then checked the bag and searched for any metal objects on me. I was in there for what seemed like long lasting hours, which it was, when my mom in the chairs, teardrops go down her face as she hears all I've experienced in silence. Fast forward, and I end up transmitting to this McDermott hospital where I'm put on a stretcher and carried away to this ambulance by this woman named Anastasia, with I think three guys assisting. Anastasia drove me to the hospital with bumps and stops, but I still told her she did well. She asked me, did I was like the trip to the hospital too rocky, or like could I drive or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you did good. But let's get back to the vid. Or not to the vid, to the book. The last memory I have of her is when she put the blanket on me and wished me wellness. After that, she walked out the door. I can't remember what she said when she walked out of it, but I believe she said something. I was in a temporary room on the adult side of the unit. They had me there to get all my things in order. It seemed like I was in a dream, but none of this was a dream. Then they took me to the children's side of the hospital where they took my vitals. They walked me over to room 15 where I would be laying my head. I would be there for a couple days. I would meet new people and have experiences writing without pens and pencils and instead with markers. It taught me peace and tranquility. I would spend my time either socializing with other patients who were younger than me or in a room looking out the window to see this nice mural while singing songs by Young Lean to myself. I ended up getting out on Sunday with them prescribing me anxiety depression meds. But to me, they don't work. They have their side effects, and I'm waiting for a switch on my medication. I'm waiting for things to return to normal. It's not to say that things will never be normal, but I can see there's a new beginning. I am a new Jah indeed. That shit kind of deep. I ain't gonna lie. All right, this one is chapter 5. Middle school is not like it is in Disney. And if you wonder where the picture is, this is a picture I made back in middle school. I was calling myself Jay hitting buckets. I don't know why I was calling myself Jay for real. I was cause saying, okay, my friends called me Jay, and then I fucked with Big Mouth, so I was liking what's called my favorite character was Jay, so I named myself Jay hitting buckets. But overall, there is no J. What's called JAY in my name. All I got is job, but I what's called there is no J in my name. Anyway, the middle school I went to was so called Nathan Hale Magnet Middle School. I was already somewhat aware of the environment because I went to summer school by choice. My decision was inspired by this Disney show called Andy Mack. Only real ones know about Andy Mack for real. It was basically all these teenagers living as regular teenagers do with these weird, cringy problems, I guess. For some reason, I thought middle school was the same way. I was sadly mistaken. I got hit with a harsh reality. Once I got there, though, I enjoyed how much eye candy was there at the time. Laughing while I typed this. I fell in love many times, but I would only be in love for a week or maybe the lobe. Did I mean love? I didn't even know I had I didn't even know I had uh typos in here. Or maybe the love would carry on with me until the end of the school year. I remember this one time I fell in love with this girl named Natalie. I don't know why, but for some reason I was attracted to her and saw my whole life with her in the sixth grade. Very strange. I was writing poetry and some of the poems were about her. I think one time she actually ended up seeing one of them. Very embarrassing. Time goes by, we actually end up dating, and the time it didn't even seem real. Come to find out, she cheated on me with this guy named Antoine. I remember, dude. It was definitely a heartbreaking time, I think. I don't know if I actually felt the emotions or just decided to move on. I was kind of surprised at how she did it right in my face. At the time, we were all on Instagram. This is the time where you would put the date of your relationship in your bio. with the heart next to it. Only the real ones know what I'm talking about. Natalie had, I think, 3 dates in her bio. She told me the rest of the bios were of dead family members. One of them turned out to be her and Antoine's relationship date. It was definitely surprising. I had a lot of relationships in middle school to the point where I was recognized as a man thought or a homie hopper. For girls, of course. These terms were popping up in the era of Armand and Trey and Taylor girl situations. On the real ones, though. Bro, I'll give y'all a lot. I'll give y'all a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I had some friends in 6th grade named Jalen, Kate, Niceer, D, Trey, and more. When it hit 7th grade, though, my friend group was solidified. I made a group for all of us around gaming called SGD, aka Samurai Go Dumb. I wanted us to be stars. The group contained Jalen, Rayshawn, I think he has an apostrophe in his name, Trey, and Dylan. I knew him before middle school. He was my next door neighbor. And Polymore also once had this friend named Gapmine, but he ended up getting into a different crowd. I sometimes wonder where he would be if he continued his YouTube grind. Middle school was full of drama around nudes, bathroom fights, weed in lockers, and way more messy things. We all just felt like kids who were just doing things. Around the time I was in middle school, I had a few somewhat serious relationships, which were with girls named Cara May. She was 2 grades ahead of me, and Rihanna. She was 2 grades behind me. The relationship with Caramel just felt like a kiddie dream that doesn't even make sense, but it was a wonderful time, sometimes toxic, of course. The relationship with Rihanna probably wasn't taken as seriously, but I knew I had love for her. We actually talked this summer about rekindling things, which was going to happen, but I was still stuck on my ex from sophomore year, which did happen. That shit was deep. I think I have a lot of emotional connections to girls from the past that get in the way of my present relationships. Middle school was definitely a time to be alive. I found my love of music in the middle school. I made my first official song in 8th grade. Even though I wasn't the coolest of all kids or had popularity, I was still someone known for being myself. It was truly a time to be alive. There's a lot more things that happened in middle school, but I would write for hours. All right, this one is called Chapter 6, Gotta Catch 'em All. This is, I think I'll talk about my, what's it called? That's a picture of me holding Pokemon cards in like the 9th grade. I think it's the 9th grade. Pretty sure. I think this is what I'm gonna talk about my likes and I think like what I like is Pokemon and stuff like that. But let's see. One of my most valuable items is my Jurassic Park franchise toy collection. If y'all know about that, y'all know I fucking love Jurassic Park. I have many toys that belong to the Jurassic Park series or the Jurassic World series. Bro, when my teacher read this shit, she started reading the Jurassic Park book. Bro, I knew what's called right then that I was inspirational. Some of my toys are even older than me. I used to have a lot of dinosaur toys somewhere from the Jurassic Park series, but then I thought it would be a good idea to get rid of them. I found interest in the toys because at a young age I fell in love with dinosaurs and the whole Jurassic Park series. I fell in love with the storyline, the battle scenes, the behind the scenes clips. Everything was so new to me. I used to have all 3 DVDs of the Jurassic Park series, but think I lost 2 of them. The one I do have is scratched. I was fantasized with the whole creation of it. I remember at the end of the JP3 DVD version, there was this game they were advertising, which I think was called Jurassic Park Builder, but I can't remember fully. I think there were many games based on Jurassic Park, and I wanted them all. I actually ended up getting Jurassic Park Builder when I was older, and I had a phone. Sadly, it was shut down, and now we have Jurassic World, the game. I can say the new game has better quality and functions, but something about Jurassic Park Builder was so amazing and nostalgic. I yearned to have Jurassic World the game because at the time I didn't have an iPhone and the game looked so cool. They had all the realistic looking mutations and things, saying this just takes me back. I feel like JP is one of the things that helped me find my creativity. Beautiful. Another one of my valuables is my Pokemon cards. I have Yu-Gi-Oh cards too, but I didn't necessarily grow up with that. Yu-Gi-Oh cards were used in Pokemon battles back in elementary school. Only real ones know about that. Why am I saying that? But like back in elementary, we used to put like Yu-Gi-Oh cards with the Pokemon cards. And we used to do Yu-Gi-Oh against Pokemon. we were just kids. Like we didn't really know what's called like how to actually play. But Yu-Gi-Oh cards were used in Pokemon battles back in elementary school. Back in elementary school, it was necessary to have Pokemon cards. People were battling at recess, but it wasn't how the game was supposed to be played. Instead, it just consisted of two people slapping two Pokemon cards together. If the person's Pokemon card lays face down where the Pokeball shows, that person is lost. The most emotional time was when they would take your card. I remember they took my card. I was pissed. I ain't gonna lie. That was definitely making me emotional. People used to put the energy cards in the back of the Pokemon as if it was gonna make them win, but instead, most of the time they end up losing two cards. I was crazy over Pokemon, not too much with the show or movies, but the cards I first fell in love with Pokemon back around the time when Young Thug's song Stoner was blowing up. I think that was 2014. And I was bumping it heavily as a kid. I was on YouTube and I saw these two kids open their Pokemon card booster packs. Something about them opening packs and getting highly detailed cards was so intriguing to me that I had to invest. I feel like I spent most of my money on booster packs. Last time I spent my money on Pokemon was probably 2018, 2019 or something. I remember when I first discovered Pokemon, I originally saw it in the store when I was a little kid. This was around the time when the booster packs looked less detailed. I was asking my mom for them for some reason. Of course, she said no. I didn't know anything about Pokemon at the time, but I think it was the colors and the creatures that intrigued me. I was in love with Charizard, and I actually dressed up as Charizard at one of my elementary school Halloween parties. I forgot about that. I forgot that I dressed up as Charizard. That was my shit, though. It was truly a good time. I remember giving my Charizard Pokemon EX to this girl, EX card to this girl to look at. What? Oh, okay, okay. To this girl to look at. Truly, I can't remember, but I know I liked this girl. Her name was Haley. I remember her. She stole my shit. I ain't gonna lie, she stole my card. And I gave her the card. The next thing I know, she ends up running away with it. I still can't believe I let that slide. I can't either. Shaking my head in disappointment. And lastly, I would say one of my valuables is my 3DS, but I no longer have them. Most of them faced the wrath of my anger issues and were split in half. One did make it out, but my sister broke it later on, sadly. I actually paid $100 for the 3DS XL. Once I noticed how I kept breaking my great valuable system and how much it meant to me, I truly have many memories with this system. For me and my brother playing Mario Kart and Mario Bros. Late at night, to be making music and taking pictures of random things. Sometimes you wish you could go back to truly appreciate those things. So real. I miss my 3DS. I should go back and buy it. I think this one is gonna be about me making music. Okay, this one is called Chapter 7 Surviving the Times. This is a picture of me, I think, on BandLab. I don't know if y'all can see it. Hold on. Y'all see it? You can see it. What's called the BandLab studio type thing. Chapter 7 Surviving the Times. And all the titles have something to do with my life. I didn't give like regular titles. I gave like something that had to do with my life. Surviving the Times is a song from Nas. But I love to make music. I feel I always had this with me since I was little. I used to play the piano as a little one. I didn't know what I was doing, but the way the notes sounded was intriguing to me. I also had this play microphone. I would use it to say whatever I wanted. It was therapy for me. My mom once got me this DVD that had all these nursery rhymes. I used to play them and fall in love with the melodies. Once I turned 11, I started becoming way more invested in rap music. I wanted to do it as well and figured out how to get my music to sound like my favorite artists. My mom had a boyfriend who also did music, so I was able to learn from him how to engineer my own music. It wasn't proper engineering, but it was a way to get my music in an actual form to hear for myself. I had the name Twix26 as my rap name because my hair was dyed a light brown like caramel, which is in the middle of the Twix. I made a mixtape called Scar Tape or something like that. It only had one song in there, which was a play disc from my mom's boyfriend. And at the time, I didn't understand how many songs had to be on a project for it to be considered an album, mixtape, EP, and more. I started getting into trying to make beats. I was trying to make beats in the same basement I sleep in now. I would try making beats, but then I would end up giving up because it wasn't in tempo and there was no rhythm. Every age I would turn, I would get up and try it again. It hit eighth grade and I was ready to get serious with music. I would now be using my phone in this app called BandLab to make music. You're supposed to use headphones and a micronet headphones in order to make music. I didn't feel like doing that, and I just made it how I wanted to, which was just to rap into the phone mic. At the time, I thought it was good. Today, I think I created a style that could change music forever. I ended up finally making music back on my computer on the program called Audacity. The music wasn't so good, but it got the job done. Once I hit ninth grade, I was making music all the time. That's when I first saw my work ethic turn into something. I was making many songs that I now see as nostalgic. Fast forward to summer 2022, and I was finally getting the hang of making beats. I was ready to dedicate my whole life to producing. I was making beat after beat. It actually started to affect my health. I wouldn't eat or drink water. What? I wouldn't eat or drink water. I would just sit there making beat after beat for days. I couldn't stop. Then in 2023, I went through a bad breakup. Shit still hurt me, I'm not gonna lie. So I used that time to make music and record my feelings and thoughts. I feel like created a genre with how I did that as well. After that project, I just went more serious with music, and now I'm seeing a lot of results. I actually met a lot of people while doing music. Music is my therapy for what I go through. All my biggest issues are in my music for people to relate to. My story was to say that everything plays out how it's supposed to. Now I prepare myself for blessings. All right, this one is chapter 8. Do you want to be happy? This is what's called one of the lyrics out of J. Cole's intro for his Forest Hill Drive album. Here go the picture right here. Hold on. Where is it? This is the last chapter. The song I've chosen is called Intro by J. Cole on his 2014 Forest Hills Drive album. The lyrics spoke to me when I first listened to them. This used to bump in my mom's old car, which I think is the car I have now. J. Cole asked the listener if they want to be happy, and something about it just makes you feel something. My mom played this album out to where the songs would play in my head without any music needing to be played. This is around the time when we were searching for a house with snow on the ground. I came back to the song in sophomore year when there was snow on the ground. Crazy, right? I used to play this song on my way to the portables and while walking through the hallways. I used to play this song while I met my girlfriend at the time at different places in the school so we could walk together. I remember them days, bro. That should be hurting me. I ain't gonna lie. It was truly a beautiful time. I felt on top of the world, but that was only a lie. Another song I connected with this Hotel in Minsk by Jonathan Lindor 96. I connect with this song because I found it at a time when I was struggling with different things. It was almost as if I were going through a huge crisis, which I probably was. When the bells play in the intro, it's almost as if they're welcoming you into a different world. A lot of people say, a lot of people say they don't like the song because of his singing, but I think it adds more to the track. I can never stop listening to these songs. I'll play these songs often to get away from life and to enjoy something more. Related to the letter I wrote, I feel young, lean, Jonathan Lindor 96 saved my life. In Hotel in Minsk, he talks about wanting to drift away from this world and a girl that he still loves being in his head. It's almost as if he's my therapist writing about how I feel on a sheet of paper. Another song I like is Skin by XXXTentacion. I used to play this song a lot in 6th grade, but now I only play it sometimes. There's a weird comfort this song has for the listener. Truly, I don't know what the song talks about, but I think it talks about perspectives of sadness or the feeling of being lost. I could really feel this song because I felt I felt lost my whole life. Even now, I'm still lost. I feel I'm misunderstood, but people try to understand me. I feel I'm complex, but to others, they feel they know all about me. These songs will always be a part of my life forever. All these songs and a lot more saved this life of mine. They made me comfortable expressing my emotions through music. Thank you. And this is the end. Hold up. This is also on my Insta. Me posted up comfortably. Real. But yeah, y'all. That's the end. I hope y'all enjoyed the video of getting to know Spaz or Jahskeezy, whatever you want to call me. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Y'all probably sleep now. And with that further ado, y'all, Peace.